So now, in 2032, let me tell you why I should be president and what I'm going to do. So, already right now, I talk to a lot of my friends and I try to convey my ideals and try to get them to think different. I've done that with my fiance, I've done that with my friends, and I've always encouraged people to think differently and think smartly and educate themselves. I don't have much experience in politics, but I have experience of watching the world and how it ticks, and I know I have a good belief on how this country should be run. What political party do I align to? And you guys can figure that out. That's not for me to determine. I want you guys to figure it out, and I want you guys to think what you think of me. There are certain things I am for. I am definitely for a plan to prevent climate change. I think that creating energy efficient buildings and energy efficient homes is definitely the first step to reducing the burning of the world. I also believe that we need to focus efforts on finding an alternative to fossil fuels. As expensive as that is, I think that should definitely be a development to see what we can do to prevent the burning of fossil fuels, because that's a huge cause of pollution, and it has been since I'm a child, and nothing's been done about it since. When it comes to money, I know that we have a lot of trade deals in China, and we have a lot of money invested in China, and we do need to reduce that deficit. Now, the deficit has definitely increased over the Trump administration, and I hope by the time in 2032 it has decreased. But if it has increased, we have to do more domestic. We have to focus our efforts more domestic, and that's where a climate problem may get tangled up, because then we all have to make the decision of, are we going to take a larger deficit to have a cleaner world, or are we going to take a shorter deficit for now to focus on domestic to reduce the deficit and then focus on the climate control? And that's, maybe in the 4 years that I'm president, or 8 years, hopefully, if I'm president. And that's a plan of mine. Foreign policy is always, as I always say, I'm a patriot. I love America, and I will do anything to protect American citizens and protect American investments, whatever we're doing. All right, I'm not going to go there and spit in Putin's face. I'm not going to spit in any country's face. I believe in a world of respect. I believe in a foreign policy should be about respect. I believe our allies should be treated with kindness. I believe that even our enemies should be treated with a certain amount of kindness. JF Kennedy once said, forgive your enemies, but remember their names. So you always remember who your enemies are, but you do forgive them and you treat them with kindness. A couple more, I do have a lot of ideas, but it's not just ideas, it's things I want to do to help this country. I am all for the abolishing of the two-party system. And if it was possible for me to do that, that's something I want to do. If I got to run third party, I'll do it. If I got to do whatever I can do, I don't want a two-party system. That's not what George Washington wanted for us. The two-party system was formed to oppose the Federalists, because the Federalists were intent, created a lot of debt, but created a lot of credit for the country. And then the Democratic Republic Party was formed to protect the South and to oppose that and keep money in the flow instead of putting it into a bank. And that's the ideals of the two-party system. And of course, now it has gone to Democrat and Republican, which is kind of funny. And I hope that maybe one day we can abolish that two-party system and become one. The basis behind my campaign is unity. I'm not gonna have a slogan like "Make America Great Again" or "Make America Sensual Again," like I joked about. It's unity. It's unity and freedom. We were a country that fought for freedom in the 1770s. We opposed the tyranny of King George because we felt that he was, controlling too much. He was putting his hands too much into, our sales, like our business, the big thing, the price of tea. Why are the taxes so high on the price of tea? Why is the government mandating that? And that's a lot of what I believe in. I believe in a free market system. I believe in lack of government control in the market, that the economy should be funded by markets and businesses, and that's where our money should come from, is businesses. I don't believe that the government should tell companies what they can and can't do. I mean, there are certain labor laws, that's fine, make sure people are treated right, but like, a government shouldn't be able to walk into Amazon and tell them, how to run their company or how to treat their employees. Like, that should be on the companies. And if the employees are not happy, go on strike. Because if you go on strike with a government-backed company, nothing will get done, unfortunately. But if you go on strike with a company that doesn't have government backing, it doesn't have government funding, something will get done, because that company will fail. And that's where strikes will have more an impact. It will give A free market system gives people more of a choice, gives people more of a voice to be treated right, to have wages that are fair. You don't like the wage gap? Go on strike, do something about it, because now you won't have the government funding to shut that down. I don't like the idea of the people relying on the government to help them, because when we rely too much on somebody, it's kind of like having a toxic boyfriend. You know what I mean? You rely too much on them, and then they in turn manipulate you. We don't want to do that with our country. We don't want to rely on the government too much so that they allow them to manipulate us. We've been doing that for years now, and look at where it's got us. It's got us between the choice of Trump and Biden. So, my plan is to get rid of that. A free market system where government and market is separate. You know, lack of government control. Government shouldn't have control over people's bodies. You know what I mean? When it comes to the choice between pro-life and pro-choice, I have my own views on abortion, and I believe that it's very wrong. I believe it is a sick procedure. But I don't believe that the government has any right to say what a woman can and can't do with their body. I believe that the government has no right to say what a man can and can't do with their body. The only laws that should stand true are the 10 Commandments written by our Lord and Lord, because those are, good laws to stand by. Laws are going to be necessary to keep people safe, but laws should be created to keep people safe. The police should be created to keep people safe. There should be a social worker revolution, or a social worker boom, to where we have people appointed to help with certain cases that police aren't trained to do. We don't want to overtask police officers. You know what I mean? The reform of the police is to help them, not hurt them. We want to take more off their plate so that they can focus on protecting and serving the American citizens. We want to have social workers who are fit to handle domestic abuse, who are fit to handle, and my side, I just maybe revealed my party, but the right side, extremists, need to stop thinking that social workers are 5-foot women. First of all, I know a 5-foot woman who can kick your ass and tie you in a knot no matter what size you are. Second of all, anybody can be a social worker trained for a situation. It is up to us to actually put that in place and train people. Instead of being scared to change things and just accept things for the way they are, no, we're not going to accept systematic racism anymore. No, we're not going to accept police brutality anymore. We're going to do something about it. That's my goal, is to do something. I'm not going to sit here on my hands anymore. That's why I decided to get into politics in the first place. I was tired of complaining about the problems, and I wanted to do something about it. So I focused, I educated myself, and I read, and I read, and I read, and I studied until I thought that I was ready to finally voice my opinion on things, and now I'm to that point. So, there are more, and if this goes well, maybe I'll continue to express well. Until then, I encourage you this. The election coming up, vote for who you think is going to be the best lead for this country. Don't vote for the lesser of two evils. If a third party choice you think is the best choice for this country, then I encourage you to vote for that third party. Yes, you may lose the election, but the election is about winning and losing. It's about having a voice. That's what voting was. That's what women died for. So that women had the right to have a voice, not to win. So that they would have a voice in the election. If a third-party voice is strong enough, even if Trump or Biden wins the election, if a third-party voice is loud enough, that causes change. Stop being afraid, please. We scare too easy. Don't be afraid. Go out, vote for who you believe in. Don't vote for somebody who's going to tell you not to vote for this person. Vote for somebody who's going to tell you to vote for them. We're 2032.